Good afternoon. A woman from Cumbria is suing AstraZeneca after her partner died 8 days after getting his COVID vaccine. Vicky Spitt from Alston lost her fiancé Zion in 2021. Around 150 million people have now received the vaccine across the UK. 0.001% of those have had fatal complications. Miss Spitt has since received £120,000 in compensation, but says many others who've been negatively affected are missing out.
They're being denied any sort of help because their disablement isn't enough. Now, that's absolutely horrific. It's not acceptable, and that is one of the main reasons we are choosing to sue. We want to make sure everyone who did the right thing by getting this vaccine is fairly, adequately and completely looked after.
Now, the North East may be one of the remaining strongholds of one of our most iconic seabirds, the puffin. But climate change and threats to food supply mean numbers are predicted to drop by 90% in the next 30 years. Today, people in Newcastle were asked to play their part in saving the bird, featured recently in David Attenborough's BBC series Wild Isles. Mark McAlinden reports.
Puffin colonies dot the northeast coast. Here on the Farne Islands they dodge the predatory attention of black-headed gulls. But it seems they're struggling to cope with dwindling food stocks, the threat of avian flu and climate change.
The UK has around about 10% of the world's population of puffins, and in the next 30 years we predict that 90% of seabird colonies are going to decline, which is a really scary figure. So we want to start getting that conversation happening and people getting involved and seeing what they can do to help that species.
Today the RSPB brought a larger-than-life puffin to the streets of Newcastle, hoping to engage people with its plight.
The more people get to know about our wildlife and how valuable it is, it must ultimately help to protect it. We have lost touch with nature quite a lot. I think there's more interest there than perhaps we give people credit for.
The puffin's also been given some protection in the farms with access close to the public ahead of this spring's breeding season. But the long-term battle to preserve our iconic species will come down to awareness and education.
A voice, so we need to be opening that conversation, having those talks with local organisations and making the awareness there.
The oversized puffin in Granger Street will be reminding people throughout this weekend. Mark McAlinden, BBC Look North, Newcastle.
The women's record-breaking England Rugby Union captain will retire from the sport today at the end of her match at Kingston Park this afternoon. Sarah Hunter from North Shields has been playing for England since 2007, holds the world record for the most caps of any female rugby player and has appeared in 15 Six Nations tournaments, winning 10 of them. She leaves the sport after the Red Roses Six Nations opener against Scotland.
We talk about all her rugby capabilities and we can list them. There's World Cups, there's World Player of the Years, MBEs, there's everything. But for me, it's the person off the field. It's the girl that when it's tough, she's the first person to put an arm around her. And, you know, you look at the mark of a great captain, and for me, it is that interview that she did in post that World Cup loss. You saw her protect the girls, look after the squad, and I think that's what England will miss, you know, just that natural leadership. She is an all-round brilliant person. She had a phenomenal career, and what a better way than to sign off for Kingston Park today.
On to the rest of today's sport now, and in football, just two scores for you in League Two. Carlisle were beaten 1-0 by Gillingham, ending their recent unbeaten streak, and it was a draw for Hartlepool against visitors Leyton Orient. Let's take a look at the weather now. Here's Lisa Gallagher with our forecast.
Good evening. Well, we still have some showers around to end the day, and they will continue in places overnight. There'll be a lot of cloud as well, and it is going to become quite chilly tonight as temperatures drop down to around about 3 degrees. A cloudy starts tomorrow, but as we go through the day, we're going to see it brightening up from the north. Though as it brightens, we will see showers developing, some of them wintry over the hills, and only around about 8 degrees. A cold and a frosty start to the day on Monday, but it is going to be dry and fine, lots of sunshine, and up to 8 or 9 degrees.
That's it from the Saturday team. Don't forget the clocks go forward tonight. Richard Moss will be back here tomorrow morning with Politics North at 10 o'clock. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.